welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we're gonna go over the main camera buttons and features of a typical camera. We're not gonna go too in-depth because every camera is very different. What I'm gonna show you is a general layout and buttons for what you might see on your specific camera, keeping in mind that different cameras have different buttons and different layouts. So let's dive in. Here's the front of the camera. Typically, you'll find a button to switch out the lens around the base of the lens. You can push, move it, you can see lens, camera. Here is a little dots on the front where you would line up. It's very different on different camera systems. For this system, it's white to white. So we line up the white to white, spin, and it clicks in. Also on the front, on camera right, the right side of the camera is where you'd probably find the shutter release button, along with maybe a dial to change the aperture setting or some other type of setting. Also on the right, really within shot of your front index finger, you'll be able to turn off and on your camera on most cameras. Also, there'll be a dial where you can change settings and the type of shooting mode you want to be in. Moving over the top, this is typically where you'll see a hot shoe mount for an external flash or a video shotgun recording mic. You'll also see an internal flash on some cameras. On this camera, there's also a button on the side where you push and the flash will pop up. Again, push. Now, on the back of the camera is where you'll find your viewfinder on a DSLR or electric viewfinder where you'll find on a mirrorless camera, and a screen. Some cameras have articulating screens like this where you can spin around, but most cameras will have a screen that's fixed to the back so you'll be able to see the photos that you've taken. Also, you'll see more buttons for dials for changing settings like that. You'll sometimes see another spinning dial back here. On this camera, there isn't one, but you'll see a spinning dial where you can change more settings. You'll also find your menu buttons, info buttons, and a play button or a trash can button to review photos. Typically on camera right, you'll find where you put your memory cards. A lot of times it's just a door that you can open and you'll see a slot for the memory card. You can push in and you can see this is where the memory card will go in. A lot of times there'll be a logo or a symbol on how to actually put your memory card in. On some cameras you'll see dual slots, and other cameras you'll see compact flash slots. But a lot of cameras that we'll be talking about are using SD cards. On the bottom of the camera is typically where you find your battery mount. Some cameras also house your SD card inside the battery mount, so if you can't find it, check inside your battery door. So here we have the battery door to put batteries in. You have a hole here for a tripod. This is where you're gonna fix your tripod plate to. On the camera left side, or left side of the camera, is typically where you'll see all the ports for your camera. That's USB ports, HDMI ports, or microphone ports depending on your camera. On this specific one, we have a microphone port at the bottom here, and then we have mini HDMI and AV video out. Also, on the top of the camera are your lens strap holders. So in this camera, it's sort of built in, but this is where you would slide your lens strap in. You go through there, and on the other side, it's on this side. And it's really nice on this camera because it's kind of built in and it's seamless. On other cameras, you'll see them protruding outsides the left and the right. So let's take a look at this other smaller mirrorless camera very quickly, and you can see how similar it is. You can see both cameras have shutters on the top and the right. They both have dials up here on the front, and they both have lens release buttons on the front as well. This camera has a lot of dials up top to change settings. You can actually see the settings on top. You can see the back is very similar. It has buttons again to change different settings. It has a screen. This screen is fixed, although it does come up like that. Doesn't swivel out like the other one. Again, like the other camera, on the right side is the SD cards. This one has dual slots. And again, on the bottom, you can see battery door, screw for tripod. You can see on the left and the right side, this is where you would slide in your camera strap on the right side and on the left side. Basically, a lot of things are similar and the same. Like I said, every camera is different, but you can see how similar, even though both these cameras are different in a mirrorless camera and a DSLR. So now would be a great time to pull out your camera manual and get acquainted with your settings for your specific camera. Like I said, each camera is different, so check it out and see if you can get familiar with everything that you need to know to switch and change settings. Check out the supplemental resources to this lesson. We're going to include links to the most popular camera setups so you can find your specific camera or something similar to it. We'll be able to show you some basic camera setups and go in more depth about what every button is.